So welcome to the first Dev Dive. I'm EK, one of the developers. This is my video to talk about what I find really interesting about Herman Electro, and I'm going to focus on the fact that we repeat puzzles and how that works and how it makes the game super interesting. So I'll show you guys some gameplay and I'll start talking. So the first thing we do is really simple. We flip the puzzles randomly, so that you may have seen the puzzle before, but it won't be that easy to recognize because it's been flipped. So you need to put a little more work in order to be able to recognize it. And tied into that element of recognizing puzzles, we have permutations. So we have puzzles that were designed from other puzzles. And this means that it is not trivial to recognize puzzles since they have so many near neighbors. It's not easy to figure out which puzzle exactly it is, so you need to have a much higher fidelity memory, and that sort of works together with flipping puzzles. Now, the next components sort of focus on being able to come up with a solution. It's one thing to know exactly which puzzle you're dealing with. It's another thing to remember how exactly do I solve it, or what are the ways I can solve it, right? The main meat of it is every puzzle has multiple solutions, where you can and multiple solutions not just in terms of how you move, but multiple solutions in terms of which basic tools you can use to optimally beat it in terms of basic tool cost. And this means that, each puzzle room is not truly a single puzzle. It's several different puzzles. Now, on top of that, puzzles have suboptimal solutions and they have super tool solutions, which are other solutions you might at some times want to use and figure out. Now, the next thing is solution complexity and solution efficiency as well. We have managed the complexity of the solutions so that they are not trivial to remember. For many rooms, you do need to remember the puzzle solution pretty accurately. It is a pretty specific set of movements, but it is still complex, meaning that it is not trivial once you recognize the puzzle to know, and you've chosen a solution, to know exactly how to execute that solution. And tied in with this is solution efficiency, where they have, based on movement, solutions that are optimal in terms of tool use, but are not optimal movement-wise and time-wise. And actually, sometimes there are big differences in the amount of time they take. And tied in with this, of course, again, there are suboptimal solutions, and you will have excess tools if you play reasonably well, so you'll be able to take suboptimal solutions if you wish, where you just spend an extra tool. And sometimes that makes it go a lot faster. There are several rooms where it'll save you a lot of time. And that's fun to do. And also, if you don't remember one of the optimal solutions, it can be easier to figure out a suboptimal solution. And the final point I'd like to make is, since this is a tile-based game, these puzzles are built out of recognizable subassemblies, which basically means that you can learn to recognize subassemblies and learn what those do. So you're not just working from tiles or from rooms. You're working from something in between. And I think that adds a lot to sort of the repetitions that the game experiences, where you're not just seeing rooms again, you're seeing subassemblies again. And the subassemblies you might see more frequently than in individual rooms. And this adds another sort of layer of repetition where you can get an advantage through learning. One of the essential parts of a game, in my opinion, is that you can advantage yourself through learning. And Herman is a game that really exemplifies that, where there are patterns, there's repetition, and it betrays an underlying consistency that allows you to sort of understand the fundamental nature of the world you're dealing with, and to learn lessons that stay helpful to acquire behaviors and concepts that continue to be relevant because the future resembles the past. And yeah, I think Herman does this really well. It's a great example of a game where you're learning in a bunch of different ways and things of a bunch of different types of value, and you're not constantly just using logic to extend like a few basic concepts. You're learning a lot of other concepts, and you're learning how to deal with a lot of individual rooms and a lot of subassemblies and so forth. And you're also sort of learning about how memory decays and how instincts can be misleading. How, when you take a break from the game, your instincts still feel strong, but they're not as smart. And, I really do like some of the memory elements of Herman, where it's you see a puzzle that you've seen before, and you know you should know how to solve it, but you don't, and you realize your memory doesn't work quite the way you thought it did. And I really love that. So that wraps it up for today. In case you didn't know, the game is available now. Released on July 3rd, finally, after 5 years. So we've got a Twitch, Twitter, Discord. Come join us. We'd love to have you. So see you around.